escalating, I don't plan on coming down. I remember steady scraping nickels out, but I be stacking honey.
Hey y'all, welcome back. It's 2025. Welcome back to another episode of Vibrant Vocations. So we are so excited to kick off this new year with you all.
Yes.
As you all know, we got to do our check-ins. It's been a while since we've been here, so we do got a really good topic for you today. But let's first start with our check-ins. First and foremost, what are you grateful for?
What am I grateful for? I am grateful for my village. I have just been hearing and receiving a lot of kind words lately, seemingly out of nowhere. Maybe it's out of somewhere for them, but for me, it just hits me like a train. I'm like, oh, I needed that in those moments. So that's what I'm most grateful for right now, kind words.
Nice. What am I most grateful for right now? You know, I have been fasting, and in this fast, the goal was really just to like strengthen my sensitivity spiritually to, you know, being led by God and the Holy Spirit. And so nevertheless, I am grateful for that. My prayers are making it to heaven, child, okay? Every day I have essentially been, you know, praying prayers of gratefulness and, you know, just exhibiting gratitude and speaking to what I know is already true. And so I am grateful for that. That's what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for the spiritual inclination. I'm grateful for the things that I've been getting from this fast. And for those who do know, this is in fact 0 alcohol in here, okay?
Period.
They have 0 alcohol beer, so don't try it.
Don't try it.
Okay, so let's get into food addictions.
Food addictions. Lately, I have just been like fry crazy. I'm trying to figure out where it's coming from. Fries have always been something that, and for a while I was good on the fries. So I'm really trying to reel it in, you know. And yeah, just keep the fries at a healthy distance.
Keep the fries away from her.
Keep the fries away from her. From me, please. Please. I want them everywhere.
Hilarious. Fries, oh gosh, fries. I'm a tater tot gal myself, but food addictions, well, I just said I was fasting, so
no addictions currently.
I don't have any food addictions.
Oh, that's right.
I've just kind of been barely eating.
Do you have like a favorite meal that you have really grown accustomed to this month, or?
Just a lot of fruit.
Okay.
I've been eating a lot of fruit. My appetite is not nearly what it used to be. This is day 22, so
it's a lot.
I can go the whole day sometimes without having eaten, and if I really feel like hungry, I might get like like today I had some lentil soup. Okay. Which was mostly broth, barely lentil in there. They forgot the lentils, so there's that. And it was satisfying. I was fine. Did what I need to do, exactly. So that's all I got for you as far as food addictions go. New books, new shows.
New books, new shows. I'm a little ashamed of mine. I think you should go first.
Sure, I am reading this book called When We Were Innocent. Me and some of my coworkers started this little book club within the professional development, nursing professional development team, or professional practice, rather. And so we are reading that book, and next Wednesday we will have our first meeting to discuss our book, and then we'll be picking the next book.
That's super cute. That is adorable.
I'm excited. It's a very interesting book. It's a bit of a it's not a murder mystery, but it's definitely one of those thrill-seeking books where you're like, okay, I know so much information, but I still don't know enough information. Like, what happened? How's this going to end? So that's what I've been reading, and I've been watching Scooby-Doo every night.
Very good. Well, me, I don't have a book. While we were gone, I was deep in my first dissertation class, my first official dissertation class, which is where I did my literature review. So respectfully, I'm declining reading right now. Don't want to do any reading. But what I did pick up over my Christmas break, and I don't know why, very shame, we listen, we don't judge. I've been really into those Tubi movies.
They have been sustaining you.
I mean, back to back to back. So if you are like me and you like your little Tubi from time to time, drop a comment and I can send you my list. Okay, I got a list right now about 15 strong of some Tubi movies I recommend. We can go from the best bad to most bad. Okay, like we can figure it out. But yeah,
You're gonna make you a film that goes on Tubi.
Listen, I could do it. We can film one right here. Upload it tomorrow. Seriously.
Don't send me that list. I'm not interested.
That's honest. You gotta know yourself. But with all that being said, that's our check-in. So we're gonna hop right into our episode. So our episode for today is called New Year, Same You, Only Better.
Yes.
Say it again.
Say it again. Yeah.
New Year, same you, only better.
Only better. Yes. Hallelujah. Yes.
Okay, because the new year, new me. I just want to know why. Why do we have to do that? Especially if you left the previous year, like, let's think about reflecting on your year and being like, oh, such a great year. I'm looking forward to next. Well, why are you hopping into the next, like, new me?
Right. Last year was just good.
Yeah, like, why are we doing that? So,
Sure.
with all that being said, we are going to talk about resolutions, though, okay? And I want to start it off by talking about safe resolutions.
Let's get into it.
Okay? So, we know resolutions. It's pressure. Everybody's like, I'm going to do this next year. I'm going to do this. I got this list, this goal. Yeah. And it's fine. It's beautiful. Resolutions are beautiful. But it shouldn't be pressure. Because pressure is what leads to burnout, and burnout is what leads to disappointment.
Yes.
Because then you feel like you failed yourself, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That's not what resolutions are for. It's about setting a goal. So, safe resolutions, the different one that we're gonna do this year, and keep in mind, it is January 22nd when we're recording this. You can still make your resolutions.
Oh, absolutely.
You can still
You
make
got
your
people that
resolutions.
don't even celebrate the New Year's until March.
Yes.
So
yes,
you can still make your resolutions.
and it's more of them. I've been seeing it all over social media.
Yes.
Like, y'all know New Year's doesn't start till March. Like, so look, you have time. But with that being said, safe resolutions. Safe resolutions are going to be resolutions that prioritize sustainability. So things, we're not setting ourselves up for failure.
Right.
We're looking at something long term and we're saying, I can do this, I will do this. Okay? Safe resolutions are going to prioritize personal growth. Okay? We're looking at making things better for ourselves. We're looking at that beautiful version of us that we brought over into the new year, and we want that person to grow.
Yes.
Every single time. Okay? And also, self-compassion. We are not, this year, we are not beating ourselves up about anything.
Okay.
Nothing.
Because did you do your best?
Did you do your best?
That's all that matters.
We are human. We are not robots. We are not beating ourselves up, okay? So, also though, I know I said a little bit of a lot, safe doesn't mean small. I don't want you to think when we're talking about personal growth and we're talking about not beating ourselves up that means do something minuscule. No,
Right.
Set your big goals. Set your big goals, but we have to be realistic about it.
That's a great segue into the next part of this episode, which is setting those realistic goals. So she just said something that was monumental. Safe does not equate to small, okay? I have some really big goals this year. However, the year is in fact broken up into 4 separate quarters. And so for my goals, I have to start small, essentially, and build on that momentum, okay? So some examples, I'll give you an example. Personal example. I want to purchase another property. If you are aware, I do already own a multi-unit. However, the goal is to own another multi-unit. So I've set up goals for each quarter to get me to that end goal. And so one of the things that I'm looking to do is essentially increase the current property value by doing little things like making it more, aesthetically pleasing on the outside, putting some different details on the inside to essentially increase the property value. From that, we're going to pull equity from the property. That is my goal, and then essentially be looking for another property. But that is a step by step.
Sure.
Notice I just said, like, it's one thing, okay, and then it's another thing. And listen, we have to be so honest with ourselves. Like, your goals, both of us are in school, so we're going to talk to you guys about something that both of us have had to utilize in our doctoral programs, and that is creating SMART goals.
Yes.
So SMART goals, if you are familiar, SMART, S-M-A-R-T, it is an acronym that we use, and it stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, okay? Mm-hmm. So I gave myself, because self-disclosure in a nutshell can be helpful to others, but I use myself as an example because I have a very specific goal, okay? You want your goals to be clear and as detailed as possible, but it also needs to be measurable. How are you going to track the progress of this? For me, I have to keep up. I have to look at what I've done, and I'm a big checklist person. So my progress is how many of these items on this checklist are getting essentially knocked off, so I can go into quarter 2 with my new set of goals. Achievable. We gotta be for real, y'all. Goals need to fit your current life and your resources, okay? You can't just pull something out of the air, and I'm not saying that you can't, that the sky's not the limit and that you can't have these big goals, right. But you also have to be extremely reasonable with regards to your current life and your resources. So they need to be achievable. Next, need to be relevant. Goals should be aligned with who you are as an individual, okay? Goals need to essentially be in alignment with your values and be in alignment with your needs. If they aren't benefiting you in some way, shape, or form, or adding to the person that you already are, then what are they?
And can I just say, just to cut you off for a second?
Please.
I want to highlight that one. I want to take the big yellow highlighter and I want to highlight that one because I think, especially as Black women, okay, it is so easy to look at friends and coworkers and have those conversations about goals, and they say, oh, I want to do this and this, and you like, that sounds really good, I should do that too. But as you just said, I mean, does that align with your life?
Yes.
Does it, because, and I'll use me as an example, we're very transparent on here. I have her as well as another friend who both own properties with units. So it would be very easy for me to say, yeah, that's something I could get into. However, who's going to be the landlord? Who is going to be the landlord? That is not my ministry. And so that would be a goal that unfortunately, as financially beneficial it could be on the other side, I think that would be something that just would not set me up the best because it's not relevant to my values and it's not relevant to my needs. So just a realistic point about these SMART goals. Like, we just gotta know ourselves. We gotta be for real.
Know yourself, okay? Do that. Spend some time with yourself in this cold season. I know even if we have viewers that are down south, you guys have this incredible snowstorm happening down there. But if you're up here in the Midwest, it's cold. This is a perfect time to be with yourself, to be reflected, to do that mirror, that shadow work, so that you can really know who you are now at this point in time, because your goals should be in alignment with who you are presently. Okay. And last but not least, T is for time bound. So you want to set a realistic timeline for each goal. It's going to help you stay on track. Okay, it's going to help you stay disciplined and on track to essentially achieve that goal that you put in front of you. We want to focus on the process, not just the outcomes. I'll keep using myself as an example. The first building that I bought was a 2-flat, okay? My concept of what I want to do in this real estate world is far larger than a 2-flat, okay? It's far larger. However, I knew realistically, my 2-flat wasn't going to make me rich. Right. I'm using rich for lack of better words. It was going to yield some money, sure, but it was not going to make me this multimillionaire. But the value of having it was more or less everything I learned from it. So we need to focus on the process of things, not just the outcomes, okay? So We're both in our doctoral programs, truly in the final stretch, okay? We are just, this is the year. This is the year, okay?
Yes.
So with that being as it may, the process has essentially done an impeccable job. If I can say so myself, like we didn't have the luxury of being motivated to get things done, because motivation went out 2 years ago.
Okay.
Motivation left. The first year in, the motivation was gone. But what did get strengthened was that discipline muscle. What did get strengthened was our time management skills, our ability to stay organized and still even have a life. You know what I mean? We had a heck of a travel year last year. I mean, we went to some places together, but we went someplace separately, and we essentially had to bring these computers with us, and it was this balancing act. That was a part of the process, nevertheless. So want to focus on the process, not just the outcomes. I also want to take this time to talk to you guys about avoiding common pitfalls.
Yes.
We all have been there.
We do it.
And it's just a part of the human experience, I think. But we've all had this all or nothing thinking.
Guilty.
Me as well. All or nothing thinking. And I really do blame like nursing school for myself. It was all or nothing, but I'm not getting into that spiel. We need to highlight, nevertheless, the importance of progress over perfection. Perfection is in fact one of the biggest lies, okay? We are not humanly capable of doing anything perfectly, okay? We are going to make mistakes because that's a part of being a human being. So we need to highlight the importance of progress over perfection. If you're trying to, let's say, getting in the gym is a big New Year resolution for a lot of people, okay? So if you're trying to get into the gym, or you're just simply trying to become more active, if you get into the gym once a week, that is progress if you never went to the gym before, okay?
Period.
So if you in there, and I don't care if you in there for 15, 20 minutes, you was on the treadmill for 15, 20 minutes, that is 15 or 20 minutes more than what you did in the previous year, okay? So we want to highlight the importance of progress over perfection. Celebrate small wins, okay? Celebrate small wins, because that is what's going to keep you motivated.
Absolutely.
Motivation runs out. It's fickle. Okay? One day we ready to hit the road and start flying, and the next day we like, what in tarnation did I sign up for?
I really don't have to do this, like I could not.
I have a career arc. This is what is the necessity behind this, right? But the reality is, if we celebrate those small wins, then it will keep that motivation tank like, okay, this is it. Today I had a phenomenal meeting with my preceptor and my professor that I was extremely anxious about. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to expect of this meeting. And we got to the end of the meeting and my professor told me, you are on the right track. I don't finish school until August. But hearing that in January did everything for me in that moment, okay? So we want to make sure that we celebrate those small wins, okay? Secondly, okay, these common pitfalls. Comparison. You touched on it earlier. Comparisons to others. Listen, comparing yourself to other people is the stiller of all joy.
For sure.
It's the stiller of all joy. I know in this day and age, we have a ton of social media. You must understand that on social media, majority of the people are highlighting, okay, the highlights of their life, okay? They may be posting this extravagant wedding or posting this extravagant vacation. You do not know their personal struggles to get what you see, okay? And so you have to be aware enough to take yourself out of that bubble of comparison, because we do not know each other's struggles. These people are not posting the nights that they cry.
Right.
They're not posting the specific prayers that they pray. They're not posting all of those unattractive things that get us the process, right? They're not posting the process. That's behind the scenes work. There's nothing attractive about that.
Exactly.
Okay? I'm certainly not making no post of me first thing in the morning. There's nothing to see.
There's nothing to see here.
There's nothing to see here. I'm just trying to get up, okay?
Yeah.
So with that being as it may, if you need to, like myself, in the past, social media was a big catalyst of that for me. I would intentionally remove myself from it. When I was in undergrad, I would only log on social media Friday night, and I would log off by Sunday night. That's all I allowed myself to be on. Now, at the tender age of 32, I don't need it at all. I do what folks say, post and ghost.
Right.
Let folks know that I'm alive and I'm doing well, but I don't get into the nitty gritty of scrolling, because for me personally, I'm not trying to see what everybody else got going on. I got my own stuff that I'm trying to figure out, okay? I got my own goals that I'm trying to focus on. So if you're anything like myself, go ahead and I encourage you to unplug a little bit from that social media so that you can get out of that trap of comparing yourself to others. And then, of course, unrealistic expectations. Acknowledge that life happens.
Yes.
It's a part of the human experience, okay? Goals do not have to be stagnant. They can evolve. Both of us are God-fearing women, as we talked about in previous episodes. And so we can have our plans, okay? We can have our plans, but it really is up to our creator to put the stamp on the plan. As a matter of fact, I want to say that was the verse of the day. Okay?
Yes.
So we can come up with all these wonderful plans, and listen, God is not mad at you having these wonderful plans.
Right.
But one of the best things you can do is ensure that your plans are in alignment with His perfect will.
Absolutely.
Because when we make our plans and surrender them to His perfect will, you got the stamp of approval at that point in time.
Yeah. And I wanna talk about plans changing for a second, because I have been asked about plans changing from a couple different people multiple times in the last month and like this month. And I think it's so funny. God is funny. We talk about it all the time, but I think it's so funny how they're asking me, because that's something I recently just did.
Yes.
So just a little short blurb, and I don't know if I've ever talked about it on this podcast, but I made myself a 5-year first plan, 5-year second plan, retaining plan about 4 years ago. Okay. And I should be moving into my second 5-year plan. And as I was going through some stuff and preparing for that, I just looked and I sat there for a minute and I said, I don't want to do this. This does not feel genuine to me. This feels like I'm working. Because one thing about me, if I want something, I'm going to have my eye on the prize. I'm going to get it done.
Yeah.
I don't care how many tests I have to take, what kind of money it costs, I'm going to get it done. And for something as minimal, honestly, in my situation as a test, I just felt so strongly about this test. Like, I don't want to do this. The studying, like, it just seemed like so much. And I just had to check in with myself, like, what is this? This is me not wanting to do this. This is me not wanting to take that step. So now let's pivot. Good. What comes next?
Pivot. I got to add the layer to that, okay? And she said, what is this angst, okay? What is this? I do not want to do this. I think that speaks to the reality of people being ever-changing and dynamic.
100%.
We could have, I'm sure at one point in time in my life, I wanted to be, I don't know, the president of the United States, okay? I do not want to be the president of the United States. We change as individuals. We evolve. So it's only natural that our goals are going to evolve with us. So we just have to be fluid and maintain that nice fluid posture, because, if you got your plan and God is leading you another way, or you got this plan but it no longer fits your personal mold,
right?
You have to be flexible enough to pivot. For sure. That's good. Oh, I love that word.
Pivot. And also, don't, going back to the SMART goals and like time, don't put a time stamp on it. Because as she just said, I mean, this is something that's been in my plan since my early 20s. I'm 32 now. Just changed it up. And who knows? I might get into that and pivot again by 37.
Okay.
Who knows? So you just have to be open to what is supposed to be yours.
That's good. That's good. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Richards.
No problem, Dr. McCall. So, next, we are going to talk about accountability.
Yay! Accountability! Let's give it up for accountability, because where is it nowadays?
Where is it? People don't have it. People don't have people to help them get it. Like, and that's no shade. Like, come on now. Let's tell the truth.
Yo.
We have to be accountable. So, the importance of accountability. Okay. In addition to let me not say in addition. Let's start over. First of all, you have to be accountable. You have to be accountable.
I know.
You have to be accountable. Okay. In all aspects. We're gonna break a couple things down in a minute, but you just have to be accountable in all aspects. Number one, it'll just make your life a little smoother. It really will. When you stop making everything everybody else's problem,
Oh my.
It's a different world.
I wish I had a little organ here.
Like you have to be able, and again, hear me loud and clear. I have not always been this girl, but I guarantee I put my hand up. If something happens with a friend of mine or a situation, I am taking a step back and I am saying, where did I go wrong here?
Sure.
What did I do?
Yeah.
Because it's easy to point the blame. It's easy to tell you what the other person did.
Absolutely.
It's easy to have those conversations with the people in your village, but what did you do that made this situation end the way it did?
How did you contribute to it?
How did you contribute to it? Like, that's it. Okay?
Yes.
Now, past that, it is also important to have people that will also keep you accountable in your life, as well as be someone that will keep someone else accountable.
Yes, good.
But that starts with being accountable for you first, okay? But once you've done that, right, because that's what we're all working on, so once you've done that, now be and get some accountable people in your life, okay? It could be a friend, it could be a mentor, people in your community. You have to share these goals that we're creating with them. And I can say that is something that I have even started again to do recently. Any of my friends will tell you, like, am I an open book if you ask me a question? Yes. Am I going to just disclose everything? No. Very private. I'm actually very, very private. And it's nothing against certain friends or anything. It's just a matter of who's going to keep me accountable versus who's just going to let you do what you want. And again, that's not shade. It's important. I can give you guys a perfect example. This is my accountability partner in so many different realms.
Sure.
Okay? From the big to the small. I can give you an example of the small. Every single year, I throw myself a grandiose birthday party. Okay? Every single year, the day of or the day before my birthday party, I'm like, why did I do this? And then the day after my birthday party, I don't want to talk to nobody. I'm just like, we had this birthday party. I'll talk to y'all later. I do it every year. I kid y'all not. And I said last year when I was in that mood of, because she'll be the one like, oh my God, happy birthday. We're excited. No, I'm not excited. It's this party today. I'm stressed out. And I said to her, don't let me throw a birthday party next year. And she said, are you sure? I said, I'm sure. She said, okay, heard. And when I tell y'all those accountable reminders have been there since saying that, like, well, it don't matter. You can't have no birthday party. And I know that, like, we're laughing and, like, that's a more comical example, but it's real because I have other people in my life, and again, like, it's nothing against them, but I might say, birthday parties really stress me out, but I really want to do that. And they'd be like, well, then you should have a great time. It's your day. No, you have to look at that person. You have to look at how they feel, how it affects them overall, mental and everything, and just be like, I'm not letting you do this.
No, we're not. She tried to pull one, a fast one on me, though. She just, she really gets enthralled by these parties,
I love a good thing.
She is the hostess with the mostest, okay? So She's gonna find a way or an opportunity to fill that cup inside of her. I just know it. I know it to be true. She did. She had already did it. The birthday came and went. September had come and gone, and here she is like, I want to do a Friendsgiving. Please. So yes, certainly we'll be continually gently reminding her we're not having a birthday party this year. But that is a really good example. Yes,
yeah, because you just have to have these people. But also, in addition, you can use, there's tools, right? There's different things that you can use outside of people, okay? If you're talking about finance, there are so many budgeting apps, you guys.
Get into it.
Free apps that can just help you keep track of your spending habits and things like that. And not to mention, because I can say for me, the apps were cool, but I found myself always missing something. So I took it back to pen and paper. I made me a chart.
Me too.
Due, bill, category, amount. Like, that's just what worked for me. But it's been so helpful. So you have to do what works for you. But it's okay to pull on resources. You don't have to think that you have to handle everything by yourself without any help, whether it's from a person, whether it's from a resource, okay? And the last thing, please, 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 you have to do some self-reflection.
Yes.
It is so important to check in with yourself. Not that I'm against therapy, because I'm not. Been to therapy, love therapy. It's done wonders for me. But I wonder how many people would, I guess, need less, or maybe not even have to go as frequently if they did those self-check-ins.
Sure.
Because who do you talk about in therapy? You talk about yourself. Sure, you may talk about how someone else made you feel, but it's your feelings. You're talking about yourself. And sometimes just that reflection on the back end, just sitting in your corner, sitting in your bed, sitting on your couch, whatever it is, can help. And you can, write it out. You can draw it out, whatever that looks like for you. But that is so very important.
Yes, it is. And if I can add to the self-reflection is done by yourself.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I'm saying this because I've known some people in my life who, from an ethic perspective, just did not spend enough time by themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
They always had company over all the time. We're always needing to be around people. If the company weren't there, they go to the company. Mm-hmm. You have to spend some time alone to get to know yourself. That's the only way you're going to carry out proper self-reflection is by yourself.
Yeah, because you don't know how to feel. I mean, somebody will come to you and they're like, how you feeling? And you like, well, I'm okay, you here. Or I was just with you here. Like, you have to be by yourself.
Yes.
And I know, I hear it, right? And I used to even try and prevent it myself. People always say, like, I just hate being alone with my thoughts. You really can shift that for you. You really can. Mm-hmm. That is, again, that opportunity to pull those thoughts down and find themes and find patterns. Why do you feel this way? What did you have to eat this day? What's the weather looking like? And really just lock in with how things make you feel. My favorite comparison of that is literally like kindergartners. Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunate that that's who we think about in that sense. We think about kindergartners and we're thinking about them being upset and just being like, well, no, sit down. Tell me how you feel. Why do you feel this way? We should all be doing that.
Yes.
We should all be doing that 24/7. I don't care if it's something at work. And take it from somebody who has a hard time getting a quick break for a moment, okay? I have to call somebody to come down to my room. I gotta wait for a plan. It's not easy. But you have to take a quick break with yourself and realize how something made you feel and how you're going to hop up out of that.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, if you're at home, you don't have to hop up out of that. You stay in that bag as long as you want to. But if you're at work or you have, a busy day of things that you have to, make sure that you're committed to, you take it, you put it in your pocket, but you don't throw it away. Yes. You put it in your pocket and you wait until you're there later by yourself and keep doing your reflection. Yes. Okay? Next thing we're going to talk about realistic goals, right? So we've talked about them being safe. We talked about them being smart. Mm-hmm. Now we got to be for real, y'all. We have to be for real. Okay? So, we talked about this a little bit, but make sure that you break those large goals down.
Yes.
Okay? So, for example, let's say you come into January and you say, you know what? I want to save $1,200 this year. Well, if $1,200 is your check, you can't take from that check and be like, okay, my $1,200 put aside, I'm good. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
For the rest of your pay period, okay? But what that can look like is, well, I'm gonna take 100 from this check, or I'm gonna take 50, or I'm gonna take 20. And hear me loud and clear. No amount is too small. If you have never saved before and you have never put that money aside, this is brand new for you.
Yes.
Start where you're comfortable and start where you can.
That's progress.
Yeah, if you have your bills lined up, right? Because you follow what we talked about here at Vibrant Vocations. So you have made your budget and you have all your goals here. Mm-hmm. If you are left at the end of your check with $50, you can't put $50 in your savings because you got to have money for emergencies. But you can put 10. Yes. You can put 20. You can put 5. Okay? Mm-hmm. Just something. And also, don't even think that it has to be uniform. Okay? Mm-hmm. If you work a job where the check is changing every 2 weeks, or whatever the case may be, you can do percentage wise. Okay, I know I can afford to put 10% of this in my savings. Oh, I know I can afford, okay, if it's this much, or, between this amount, I'll put this. Between this amount, I'll put this. Like, make it work for you.
Yes.
Make it work for you. Okay? And again, like I was just saying, build that flexibility. Mm-hmm. We know it. Life be lifing, y'all.
Yes.
Life be lifing.
Yes.
You can't take your last and give it anywhere. You got to keep it for you. Because what are you left with?
Listen, because my Jeep showed its age. It's 10. It's 10 years old. And just a few days ago, it showed its age. And so I had an unexpected expense to get my Jeep fixed. I'm very grateful that I was able to get it fixed. And even more grateful that I had the means to get it fixed. But if I had not had this emergency money set aside, then I would have been up the creek without saying.
Yeah, literally. So just be for real, be realistic. Now, you may be thinking, well, okay, I have these goals, but are they realistic? Mm-hmm. Are they safe? Are they smart? Am I being for real? We're going to help you out. So we have compiled a list, okay, of a couple different things. And please, if we do not say something that you're thinking as far as like goals, advancement, drop it in the comments. Whether you are trying to offer the suggestions to somebody else, whether you're like, hey, I have a goal for this, but I don't know where to start. Can one of you smart ladies help me? Yeah, let's talk.
Sure.
Let's talk. So, here are some examples of some safe and realistic resolutions. Mm-hmm. So we're going to start with mental wellness, okay? Mental wellness is very important, very, very important. So, some things you could do. Start each day with a 5-minute mindfulness or gratitude practice. If that is something you have never done before, YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, they are on there, y'all.
Yes.
Guided. All you have to do is find you a spot and lock in. And they can help you, seriously. Mm-hmm. Another thing you can do, commit to journaling at least once a week to reflect on your thoughts and emotions. I am very big on this recently. Mm-hmm. I found this app and I shared it with all my friends. So if you have not heard about it, it's called the Confide app. And basically what the Confide app does is you can just make a video journal. It will transcribe everything you have said, and at the end of it, it will give you a full reflection on how you felt. Like it'll say, Melissa, this day you seem angry about XYZ, but you seem hopeful, about the resolution of another situation, and just kind of give you a trend to follow. Mm-hmm. Now keep in mind, I know some people who do it daily. I do. However, I am not one of them. I am very big on using this app when there's too much going on in my head. Mm-hmm. If something happens and, I've vented about it to my accountability, I've vented about it to my mama, and it's still just up there, I'm going to open that app and I'm going to talk. There's nobody there to stop me. There's no additional questions. Not that that's a bad thing, but it just gives me a moment to say what I need to say.
Yes.
Baby, my confide to tell you, I just be up there cussing it out all night. It'll had a face like, you seem really hostile about this. Okay?
I'm thoroughly tickled.
But when I finished, I felt so much lighter.
That's good.
I felt lighter because I was able to brush it off in that moment. Okay?
Nice.
Another thing you could do, practice saying no to commitments that do not align with your priorities. Okay? This is important. This is very important. I was just telling a friend of mine about an event that I said I would help on because I'm a helpful Hannah. I really need to stop. I'm hitting my capacity. And so I was explaining to this friend, I was like, yeah, I'm just not excited. And she was like, I thought you were so excited. And I said, yeah, I'm excited to go. I don't really want to do anything. And she was like, why? I said, because it's too much going on. I'm tired of thinking. I'm tired of thinking. I don't want to do too much. So practice saying no. Now keep in mind, another part of being accountable is that a commitment is in fact a commitment. But if this is something that it does not align, it has nothing to do with work, it's really something that you could reschedule or, whatever the case may be. Yes. And your people, yes. Do it. And it's not even about the people, to be honest, because let's talk about it. Yeah. Everybody in the world got a friend that you say you got to reschedule, they're going to have an attitude. Guess what, y'all? We are in the year of letting them have an attitude. Let them have the attitude, child, okay? Because that's your no. That's your no. That no belongs to you, not them. It doesn't take away from them. It doesn't take away from who they are as an individual. That is your no. That is your no. And a part of them hopefully moving into being more accountable is realizing that they love you as their friend and you needed that time. Yes. You couldn't come as your full self to that moment with them. You needed that time. Okay? They'll get over it, trust me. Now with that being said, those are just a couple suggestions, but I also want us to share ours, because we do it as well. So again, I kind of just said mine, but for me, it's that Confide app. Again, not something I use daily, but if my head is swirling, it's too much, I'm gonna let that app have it. What about you? I got good at saying no back in 2019, so I'm not going to dwell too much there. But for me, I do struggle with practicing quote unquote mindfulness. So that looks different for me, and I just kind of want to speak to that because it doesn't have to look like what you think it should look like. Right. For me, the moment that I wake up and I am conscious and out of dreamland, I just begin to practice a spirit of gratitude. I am thanking God for all things. I'm thanking from the moment that I wake up until the moment that I reach the threshold of my apartment. So that's how I practice mindfulness. That's how I center myself and prepare myself for the day. That does not have to be how you do it. Right. Some people, like she mentioned, you can use Spotify, Apple Music, whatever, YouTube. For some people, that works perfectly for them. My brain is a little too busy to do that, so I have to actually just concretely say things that I'm grateful for, and it works perfectly for me. With that being said, so we talked about mental wellness, which is, this is everything, okay? I'm gonna delve a little bit into physical health now, okay? I am, in fact, a nurse by trade. So I'm just gonna throw a couple of examples out there about essentially increasing your physical health. If you're like me, you might struggle with drinking water. I've gotten better over the years. A lot of times I used to say, I only need to drink water when I'm at the gym. Foolish. Absolutely foolish, okay? So if you're like myself, aim to drink an extra glass of water daily, or set an ounce goal, right? You got these cool cups out here, the Stanley cups. You got these other cups that, are this big and they have like the tines on the side, so you can sort of make an internal competition with yourself to get that water inside of you. But nevertheless, just try to drink more, okay? That's something I have to be intentional about. And I have let people know that's something I need to do. So I have that accountability piece as well. Because they're like, did you drink some water today? No, girl, they ain't. Okay? So something that you guys, can consider. Secondly, move more. Here I have commit to everyone talks about walking 10,000 steps a day. If you have an Apple Watch or a Fitbit, of course you can track. Your phone will even track it for you in the health app. But nevertheless, that needs to be
flexible and fit and conducive to your life, your fitness level. Yes. Okay, and I am a nurse. Now, if you have congestive heart failure, okay, I'm not saying that people are out here just sick, all right, but they are. There's some people that's truly sick, and you know you can't walk 10,000 steps a day. There's no need for you to strive to walk 10,000 steps today. All you have to do is make a goal that's realistic and conducive to yourself, okay? That's it. And if the goal is to simply move more, just move more, okay? I pace a lot. That's how I think. I talk to myself, okay? That's how I think. And I'm not talking to myself, I'm talking to my dog. But nevertheless, that is how I problem solve. And in that, I'm walking. I'm taking those steps. So I do a lot of walking as far as to and from work, because I do take public transportation. I have a dog, so I gotta walk my dog. So whatever the case may be, so that you can move a little bit more, just make sure that's conducive to your fitness level. I mean, no one should be trying to be Hercules out here, okay?
Yes.
And then maybe try a new type of exercise, right? Maybe you want to purchase you a bike and start biking by the lake this spring. Maybe you want to start going to one of my best friends just started going to this boxing class. She loves it. Okay, she goes several times throughout the week. So maybe you want to get into boxing. Me personally, I love boxing, so I bought me a bag. So if you want to just increase your physical level, there are so many different ways to do that. And it don't have to look like everybody else's. You don't even need a gym membership to become more physical. You can do this in the comfort of your own home. I definitely have my little gym in my basement on days like this. It's just bitter cold or just too tired to try to get to the gym. But whatever works for you, try new exercise. Cycling, yoga, strength conditioning, swimming, okay? That's a really good one, good for your joints. Okay? If that's something that you want to get into, okay? And I'm gonna pass the mic over to Dr. Richards.
So real quick before I say what I do, as far as the trying new classes, make sure you guys check out the Mind Body app. You can pick the location of where you live and it'll bring up all the different classes. And the really cool thing I like about that is that usually those places are like smaller gyms, so privately owned. You usually go in there, you have the class with the owner, and no shade, but I mean, if you were going to Planet Fitness, you're not going to meet Mr. Planet Fitness. He's not in there, okay? But going to this place and being able to talk to these people about like why they started this gym and what their fitness journey has looked like, it's a really cool opportunity to network. So definitely check out the Mind Body app.
I like that. I need to check out that app.
Yeah, it's a good app. But for me, what I do personally, I am just very intentional about being active daily. Kind of like what she said, I do walk a lot at work now. I don't walk a lot in my classroom because it's like, okay, I have a smart board. I remember, side note, y'all, I remember our teachers being up all day, want. Like, I just got my little desk with my computer. I don't have to get up at all. Everything is controlled right there. But also being in the furthest and newest wing of the building that I am, I'm so far from everything. So yes, I'm getting those steps in on a daily. Nice. But one of my favorite ones, and I bet y'all didn't even think about this, and now I hope you do. One of my favorite ones is if I go out to eat with my family, with my friends, whatever the case may be, first of all, I don't want to go home anyway. I just enjoy being with my friends. But I'm the one like, hey, let's go to Target. When they laugh at me because they're like, yeah, she loves Target. But whole time we're strolling through Target. Yeah. I didn't have this meal and now I'm getting active. And that's an hour stroll easily.
Definitely.
Target,
it's
Walmart,
dangerous.
the mall. You can get your little stroll after you eat.
I like that. Honestly, she is that way, and I didn't realize that that's what was happening. I really thought that we were just like catering to this addiction. But it makes sense. It makes a ton of sense. I did just recently start running more over the last year. Actually, she had this wonderful competition that started back in September, and so I've gotten I've essentially built my endurance up, and so now I'm running more indoors, which I don't particularly care for, but I can't wait until it warms up a little so I can go back outside and run, because has been very helpful with this program and just releasing, really truly.
So that's mental, that's physical. Now we're gonna talk about career, okay?
Shmoney.
Let's talk about some career advancement. So A couple things that you could do. You could attend at least one professional development workshop, webinar, or conference this year. Let me just say, for my teachers, Google free professional developments. There are so many of them, and most of them go towards hours for your professional educator license. So look into that. But outside of teaching, I mean, there are so many. Another thing you should do, update your resume and your LinkedIn profile by the end of the month. You can definitely do that. That's also something I did this month.
She thinks she better than me because I need to.
And don't. When she's ready to do it, I'll be there to help. But yeah, like, you know, you just don't realize, you know, how much more education, how much more experience that you've taken on until you look at that and realize, like, you know, the last time you had to pull it out. Because the simple fact is, if you get a job you're comfortable in, you're not looking at that since you know, been at this job. Yeah. So you take it out and you're like, oh, I got some stuff to add. Yeah. It's just a really good feeling. Another thing you can do is seek out a mentor or mentee to build your network and grow professionally.
Love it.
This is something that I think we both do, actually. I think that I am a better mentee. I think she's a better mentor. But, you know, it's okay. But, you know, it kind of goes back to that accountability factor of having someone that can help you and you can ask those questions to, but also providing that for somebody else.
Yes.
And it makes you feel really good. I have a couple different mentors, work, sorority, things like that. But I know that in those different realms, if I have a question about that, I can ask them. But then again, in those realms, I also have someone that can ask me stuff. Yes. And it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling, that person taking pride in you and taking pride in your knowledge and seeking to know more about what you know. It's a really good feeling.
That is
so,
a good feeling.
Last thing, set a goal to negotiate a raise or a promotion, but make sure you back it by measurable contributions. Okay? And we were talking before we started recording. What does that look like if they won't give it to you? Time to go.
Somebody said update the resume.
Okay? Update the resume, because it's time to go, because somebody will. Because there's no way that you've been sitting on this job 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years and have not learned more. There is somebody out there that is going to value more, and they're going to pay you.
Okay, that's good.
So, I would say for me, again, I really enjoy the free professional development. I heard when I was in undergrad, like, teachers never stop learning. There's things change. And so I am just really big on finding those different things, especially when they relate to like specific content. So me being a primary teacher, I don't teach just one subject. I teach everything. And so I really like doing professional developments on like STEM and things like that, especially at the higher level, because it's just giving me knowledge. And a lot of times I really can, you know, like dwindle it down for my third graders and make it, you know, a little bit more relevant for them, but still fun. So I really enjoy the free professional developments.
Emphasis on free.
Emphasis on free.
Because I definitely have to attend the conference and it is not free, honey. But I am pursuing a certification and they are offering a certification prep course 2 of those days of the conference. So I will be going to Vegas in the spring for that. But for this, for me personally, the biggest thing that really like stands out for that career advancement is the relationship building with a mentor and having mentees, because pay it forward. You know what I mean? We're not just getting all this wonderful knowledge and learning all these things and becoming and growing more into our professions just for ourselves. It's to give back to other people. I have mentors in so many different categories of my life. Okay, I'm constantly on the phone with a mentor, constantly texting the mentor, or setting up a Zoom call with a mentor, because that's a part of my village. Okay, they have essentially poured into me all of, majority of my, especially majority of my professional life, but a lot of them have poured into me since I was a child. So with that being as it may, I'm really big on, you are not too old to have a mentor.
No, not at all.
Okay, like you need somebody that's gonna, check you, someone that's gonna push you. One of my mentors is I remember her telling me when we worked together as clinical nurse educators, that I was going to go back for my doctoral degree, and I swore that I was not going to do that. I was absolutely disinterested, and here we are. in our final year. She is serving as my preceptor at my practice site currently. So just get you a mentor.
Yeah.
Get you a mentor and pay it forward. Get you some mentees. Okay, so moving right along, we talked about mental, physical, career. Now we're getting into education advancement, which really piggies back, really and truly. You do not have to go enroll yourself in a whole nother program. We are not here to, we're not selling our schools.
Nope.
None of that, okay? Like Melissa said, there are lots of free things out there that you can essentially learn, okay? And it doesn't even have to be related to what you do professionally. So, some examples. You can enroll in the course to learn a skill that complements your career or your personal interests. Me, personally, I feel like I need to figure out how to be a mechanic, but I gotta wait. But I gotta learn a little bit more about these cars, because if I can figure out how to do something, baby, I'm gonna do it every single time. Secondly, dedicate one evening a week to some self-study or reading in your field. This is easy, guys. Like, there's so many journals out there. I mean, for my career, it's too easy to do this. You know what I mean? But it doesn't have to be related to your career. I dedicate time to study my Bible, okay? Like, I dedicate time to study even different artists and different writers and even music, okay? These are things that interest me. And so I pick up things and I read about them, or I get on YouTube and I study these things. There's so many things out there, podcasts, etc., etc. It does not have to be, work. I just went to work and I got to go home and do some work. No, it can be something else that absolutely interests you. But if you are thinking about going back to school, definitely don't want you to be stressed out about money, because that's hard out here. So there are plenty of scholarships out there. If you can, apply for financial aid. If you're looking to pursue higher education and just the monetary aspect is feeling overwhelming, if I can say this from one adult to another adult, invest in yourself. Yeah. Invest in yourself. One thing about it, two things for sure, something gonna cost some money. Yes. Okay? Yes. Something's gonna cost some money. But if in fact it's something that you're passionate about, it's something that's gonna fill your cup, it's something that you're gonna wake up every day and you know that you're putting back into the earth what was essentially put into you, it is worth that investment. Because when we are done on this side of heaven, you can't take none of that money with you. Okay? That's it. So, invest in yourself. It's never too late to invest in yourself. I'm going to say that 1,000 times. Another thing that you can do, you can attend a lecture or seminar in a subject you've always been curious about. I work at Northwestern Medicine. We have so many different seminars. Oh my gosh. So, obviously we're a part of the school, and then we're an academic medical center, and there are so many things that intrigue me. The current role that I serve in came by way of me being interested in learning more about cancer, because my father was diagnosed with cancer. My job previous to this, I loved it. I love my job. I love my manager. I knew exactly how to do that job. I knew what to expect when I woke up, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I came across something in life, okay? My father got sick, and I was like, I don't know too much about this.
You need to learn something, yeah.
I need to learn a little bit more about this. And then, very serendipitously, the job came across my Indeed when it was like after 11:30 at night, and I was watching Stranger Things, and I remember reading the description like, I could do that, and applied, and oh my gosh, they called right away. I was like,
it's meant to be.
Oh my gosh, I don't want to quit my job. I like my job. What's my boss gonna think? So,
right.
Nevertheless, there are things out there, guys. Learn. You'll never know enough. And if you meet somebody that claims that they know it all, you have in fact just met a liar.
Yeah, for sure. For me, mine was pretty similar to that. I take interest in so many different things, and it's such a beautiful realization when you finally realize that everything that you like or you're interested in doesn't have to be like a cash grab, right? It doesn't have to be like a business. It's just like, it's cool to just know things about this. But in my case, it was right when I first started my skincare business. I ran across an advanced education program, and it was all about the science of skin. Well, no, I didn't go to esthetician school or anything like that. And so that was important for me, because this program, essentially what this program was the science that they learn at esthetician school without having to put the hours in, because I'm not performing services. I'm just offering knowledge, and I'm offering product. And so I said, I have to do that. Now, it does go against, unfortunately, our free stuff. It did cost me a little money. But as she just said, it was an investment. And I love the fact that when people, I'm doing pop-ups, or even, I run into people and they ask me a certain question about a product or about a skin problem, I really can give genuine details. I'm not just selling something.
I can attest to that.
Like, I'm not just telling you like, oh yeah, this will be great because your skin is XYZ. No, you have this because of this, so you need this.
I can attest to that. Maybe we'll put a before. No.
None of that. Stop. You funny.
Never mind. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna talk about the next thing.
We're gonna talk about the next thing. Okay, next is the family planning.
Yay!
Family planning is very important. And if you are sitting there, like, let's just say you're a first 21 watching this, like, girl, I ain't having no kids. That is not all we are talking about.
Okay.
So just hold on, because there are bigger things to family planning. But some things and goals that you could set for family planning. Number one, very big, set aside dedicated time each week for intentional family connection. That doesn't have to be dinner. Now, if you have a family full of foodies like I do, we like to go out to eat. But if that's not your ministry, it could be a game night, movie night. Y'all can eat. I mean, the goal though is just to be together. The goal is to be together. Even if you want to start a family book club, read the book, y'all can have a meeting, but whatever the case may be.
Wishful thinking.
But yeah, that's one. The other thing, if you are, in fact, expanding your family, you should create a health and/or financial plan to prepare for your journey.
Yes.
That looks different for so many people.
Yes.
And this is not just only for women. For men, it might be a single man, like I want to be a dad one day. Look into what that looks like, both for you financially and what you need to do to ensure that you could be somebody's dad one day.
I love it.
Yeah, very important. Yes. Very, very important.
It's 2025, okay?
Okay.
Be for real.
Let's be for real. No, let's be for real. Next, build or update a family emergency plan. I know that this is the stuff nobody wants to talk about. I know. Mm-hmm. But this is including those documents like wills, and things for like their medicine when they need to take it, different things like that. Even like procedures in the hospital.
Yes.
That is something I am very big on. And you guys know from last year, I was telling you guys on a previous episode, I lost my dad. But one of the things that I am so proud of is that the year prior to losing him, so 2023, I was on my parents about that. Like, I need to know everything financial. I need the guideline. I need to know what medicines you take, why you take them, what what's it for, if it combines with this, whatever the case may be. And it really helped out, because when my dad went to the hospital, I was able to talk to them and I was able to tell them, and it helped out. It helps out a lot. So I know that those conversations can be scary. I get it. I do. But you have to have them. You have to have them, especially if you're the oldest. All the kids should be having it, honestly. But if you're the oldest, I'm sorry, nobody else gonna do it. I love my little brother to death. He wasn't gonna do it. I wouldn't have got it if I waited on him to do it. So that's it.
Love it.
And lastly, another family tip: just schedule monthly dates with your partner to keep the connection strong. You guys don't have to spend money for this. It is about being intentional. It is about spending time. It's about bonding. That could be a picnic. That again could be a movie night. That could be y'all deciding that y'all gonna go to Walmart and pick out things that only begin with A. Like, whatever that bond looks like for y'all, you have to keep it going, because life is so busy. Life is so busy for everybody. And when you find that safe space in a partner, you know how we were talking earlier about like canceling on friends? It's easy to cancel on that person, right? Because it's like, no, they'll understand, they'll get it. Oh, I know we had this plan, just come over. We'll just hang out like that. But then, you know, y'all get there and everybody's asleep. It's been a busy day. You know what I mean? Like, just be intentional, but it's very, very important. Very important. So, what that looks like for me, well, I said it. I see my family multiple times a week. We're very close, and it does take more planning now because people are getting busier. But I'm gonna see them, and whatever that looks like. We also still travel together, and I know that that's hard for a lot of people. Don't get me wrong, because I done been on a couple family vacations where I was sitting there like, this the last one. But you know, it's just about the time, and you know, you might not find that if you have parents, or you know, your guardian is your aunt, grandma, whatever. You might not find that if they don't like to travel. If you just like to travel and they don't, well, no, that's not going to be intentional because it's not for them. But find what works for y'all. What about you?
On the other side of that coin, I'm not nearly as good as she is about, you know, making time for that intentional family connection. So that is something that I want to pursue this year. I definitely, it's easy to get, you know, caught up in your own stuff, and by 5 o'clock you tired, you're not trying to drive nowhere. But the reality is that we're all on borrowed time.
Right.
And so it is important to make that time. And I also want to speak to the documents like wills and advance directives and medications. I'm just gonna put out there, like, I'm the baby of 4, and it's me.
Who's gonna do it?
So you just gotta know yourself, know your family. But make sure you guys are having those difficult conversations, because I work in healthcare and I've seen the ugly side of that when those conversations are not being had. So start having those conversations now. Know what's going on with your people, okay? Our parents are older. Know what's going on with your people for sure. Next, we want to talk about money.
Because listen, we done talked about a bunch of free stuff. We can't act like money don't exist.
We gotta talk a little bit about money. We touched on this earlier, but really and truly, guys, it's important to have an emergency fund. I thank God to be the lender and not the borrower, but I haven't had to be the borrower sometimes, okay? So it's important to have an emergency fund. And like Melissa said earlier, you don't have to put your whole paycheck in an emergency fund. The goal is to put a reasonable amount of money in there that's not going to obviously affect your home. But the even bigger goal is to not touch it. Right. Because it will build over time. Yes. If you're consistently putting however much you comfortably are able to put in there and contribute to it, wonderful. $1, $5, $100, maybe you get 3 checks in 1 month. And you put that whole 3rd check in there, okay? Like, that looks and feels different for everybody. But the goal is to not touch that money until an emergency happens, okay? I had a water heater go out. That's an emergency. Somebody is negative something degrees outside. My furnace goes out. That's an emergency, all right? So that's what that money is for. It's not, oh my gosh, this bag is available. Again, that's not an emergency, honey. Like, pause, call your accountability partner. Okay. If maybe you're trying to create a plan to pay some debt down. Okay, I'm there with you. You can come up with a plan to pay a reasonable plan. There are so many different strategies out there. I'm just going to encourage you to go on Pinterest and literally just put that in there. Plan to pay down debt, and they're going to give you so many different strategies. You pick the one that's most conducive to you, that's most realistic for you. Set a realistic budget for the year, okay? Like, and really and truly, that doesn't have to be the entire year. 1 month at a time.
Absolutely.
And if I can say this, 1 paycheck at a time, if you have to. Because everybody's life doesn't look the same, okay? Right. Some people can project 6 months down the line. Some people can pay their rent 3 or 4 months in advance. That's not everybody's story, okay? So with that being as it may, set a realistic budget for you. As Melissa said earlier, there are tons of apps out there. I tried to use an app called Every Dollar, and it's great. However, I too went back to the pen and paper because that just works best for me. It just works best for me. I couldn't keep up with the app, and stuff was happening, and I was like, this is too much. You don't even have a slot for what just came up, okay? So with that being as it may, figure out what essentially works best for you. Take a class on investing, okay? Talk about money. Talk about money. But for my people of color, okay, I'm gonna say that. We didn't have all of these different classes interwoven into our curriculums growing up that spoke to finances, that spoke to investments, that spoke to how to make your money grow. That is knowledge that was not necessarily given to us, and probably for a very specific reason.
Not even credit.
Okay? Not even credit. Okay? That's important. People don't talk about it, right? So with that being as it may, learn these things. There is a surplus amount of education out there that you do not have to pay for to learn about these things. Stocks, bonds, crypto, savings, all of these things are out there, but you have to make yourself aware of them. If you want to spend some money, that's your business. But there are a lot of free resources, tons of podcasts. I listen to the Millennial Podcast for finances. Tons of things, okay? And it doesn't have to take up your entire day, just so you can essentially build that knowledge gap and build on what you already know, so that you can make your money make money, okay? That need to be somebody goal. Make the money, make money. You listening to all this music where people talking about they can make a bag in their sleep. It's a way to do that.
For sure.
It's a way to do that, but you have to invest in that knowledge. You have to invest in that time, okay?
Absolutely.
For me, I got a budget. I got a financial plan because I got some goals. One of my goals that I wrote down said to spend intentionally, because sometimes I do too much. Sometimes I see something and I impulsively purchase it, okay? But because I have these really big goals for this year, I have to be more intentional about my spending habits. Every time I go outside, it doesn't have to be $300 being spent, okay? And every time I see a bag or a shoe that I like, I don't have to own it, all right? That shoe, that bag gonna be there. Something better gonna come back out in 2 months. So with that being as it may, you just gotta keep your eyes on your prize and your goals and be realistic. Now, I'm not gonna say don't treat yourself, because I treat myself. I'm well taken care of. I'm not gonna say that. I like to eat out. Okay? But I am gonna say, if you do have goals that have anything to do with your finances, be for real, be realistic, and stay within your means. Don't do too much.
For sure. I actually agree with that. And because I agree with that, and that's also what I do, I'll go a different route. I want to talk more about the guilt-free spending. That is something that I add into my budget, because I'm being for real. That's right? Good. You know, you could sit here and you could write down all your bills, and you might say, okay, I got a good $600 left over. I'm going to throw it all in my savings. And then your friend texts you like, hey, you want to go to brunch on Saturday? Well, no, it's not in your budget. So put it in your budget. Set aside be for real, but also, we're still young.
Brunch is $100.
Yeah, like you have to be for real about what you're spending, but you just can't go overboard. And that is it's just finding that really healthy medium of I'm enjoying my life, but I'm still saving. Now, you shouldn't say, oh, I got $500 left over, so I'm gonna go to brunch every day this week. That's $500 easily. No. Money gone. Come on now. But you should still be out enjoying yourself.
Yes. Guilt-free spending.
Guilt-free spending.
Your accountability partner can help with that too.
Yes.
There have been times when I needed to lean into Melissa because I was being overly responsible. And we kind of got this little checklist. You know what I mean? Like, your bills paid, you pay your tithes, you pay your offering. All right, cool, but get the bag.
Right. Get the bag. Everything's taken care of.
That's it. You got food in your house? You got gas in your car? You still got a job?
Okay. Okay.
Get the bag.
That's it. But with that being said, one of my absolute favorite guilt-free shopping things that I add into my budget is travel.
Okay.
And I know that's not everybody's thing, but let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some realistic travel goals and resolutions. So, research and plan a vacation you've been dreaming of. And it doesn't have to be even like it's January now. You don't have to look at it and say, I need to do this by June. You might say, okay, this is going to be my Christmas gift to myself, or give yourself a year. By next January, I don't want to be out in this cold. I want to be sitting on the island somewhere.
Yes.
But actually plan it, because not only is that going to help you in the steps to being prepared, that's going to build up that excitement. A lot of times with traveling and being for real, people don't do it enough, and so they just think that it's not attainable. And then you start looking stuff up and you're like, oh, I can do this. Yeah, exactly. So plan it, and wherever you need to put it so that you can, knock that off your list.
Yes.
Another one is to explore one new destination locally or within driving distance each month.
Love that.
So wherever you are, what's the club? Like, I actually just found out maybe a year or so ago that I think South Carolina is like an hour and a half away from Savannah, Georgia. That's cool. So like if you live in Savannah or you live near Savannah, you could just go to Myrtle Beach. I mean, like, it's right there. You know what I mean? And it really could just be something, you get some friends together, y'all do it for the weekend. It could be a solo thing if that's what you want, take your boo. But I mean, and even if like Myrtle Beach is somewhere that you're like, oh, I think only old people ain't there, I never want to do it. Just do it. Why not? Just try
You
something
might be
new.
pleasantly surprised.
Pleasantly surprised. Try something new.
Yes.
And if it's not the driving distance, even locally, find a restaurant, find a store that's maybe an hour, from your house, and go check it out if it's something that you have not been exposed to. That's just, it's a good way to get yourself some exposure to different things. It's just something to do. It's going to give you all those happy endorphins.
Yes, you need the happy endorphins.
100%. I guarantee you. Another thing you can do, start a travel savings fund. So we talked about putting the emergency fund away. These funds should not be together. They're
not
separate.
the same.
So you put your 20 for your savings, emergency savings, and then you put your 20 for your travel. And it may not even be a matter of like, well, I can't buy anything until I get this, because we can plan. Maybe you'll say, okay, I got this check coming up. I'm going to get my hotel with this check. Next check, I'm going to get my flight.
Yes.
And then by that point in time, when you actually do take your trip, you might have a good $500 to spend where you go. It's just about being intentional.
Like that, yes.
Yeah, just be intentional about it. Also, if you have not, highly recommend, create a travel bucket list.
Indeed.
Prioritize one destination that you want to visit every year. I don't care if y'all just decide June is my travel month. I have this week off of work. I'm going to go the same week every year. Cool. And when I tell you that'll be what you look forward to coming up on June, and then when you get back home, you're going to start planning the next one. And you're like, ooh, I can't wait till next June. But it's just something to look forward to and a way to see the world. Y'all, wherever you are. I know a lot of people who listen are like in our village. So we right here in Chicago and, other close by states. But just imagine seeing the world, because it's so small. I'm sorry, it's not small. It feels small, right? Where we're at feels very small, but there's so much world we haven't seen.
Yes.
Like so much, so many different people, so many different cultures, so many different, even like climates that you've never been exposed to.
Yes.
So just add that to your list and start knocking those off.
Go.
Please go. So for me, I do that. It's period. I Miss Catch a Flight. I have given myself that nickname. If I think on it too long, I'm going.
The airport hate to see her coming.
The airport hates to see me coming. Listen, if I sit here, if we have a wrap down after we finish and she says, oh yeah, I thought about, for a better like a place, Orlando, Florida. And I say, Orlando. If I even put it in my Google, it's happening. I guarantee you the next thing
happening.
She hears from me, I'm sending her, hey, I'm going to Orlando March 5th through the 9th.
That literally is our lives, guys. Like we were studying sometime, and we were talking about, I had told her I really want to go to Italy. I wanted to go to Italy, and then a pandemic came and it just destroyed everything, all of the plans to go to Italy. And next thing I knew, she planned a trip to Italy. We went to Italy. We had a time. Okay. So yes, Yes.
And even with that, like seeing the world, like, cause let's just say this, right? Let's say you make that travel bucket list and you only have maybe like 3 places on there. Cause it's like, this is what causes interest. Seeing the world is gonna add some more, I promise you. Cause one of the places we went on our Italy trip, we went to Nice, you know, so that's all of southern France. Southern France has never been on my list.
Gorgeous.
I saw Paris and I was like, okay, this is cool. Paris is cool. I've been to France. But southern France,
It is.
baby, they gonna see us.
We gotta go into southern
We're going to go into southern France. They are going to see us. Nice, Monaco, Côte d'Ivoire. They're going to see us, okay?
A time.
So,
time. Oh my God, Saint Tropez. A time. Wow, it was just so beautiful. I'm sorry. I just went back to that because oh my gosh, and my tan was just delicious right
Gorgeous.
now.
Right now. I don't look as
I look like I live in Chicago. Just to touch on the travel piece, like as Mel just did an eloquent job at explaining, we say we want to go somewhere and then we make it happen. So as you guys know, this is our last year of our doctoral programs and we're like, how are we going to celebrate this wonderful achievement? We made the decision that we are going to go to Bali. So we have already started tracking flights. We have already started pinning potential Airbnbs. And so that planning, when you say you want to go somewhere, it really should start that day. You know what I mean? It's possible because at that point in time, you'll start seeing like, man, this stuff, we were looking at Airbnbs like, we are in awe by how cheap they are.
Seriously.
Like, almost like, do we need to live there? I don't know.
Right, no, but yeah, it started that day. And that's all it takes, y'all. Start. Pick a location, pick a date, do your planning.
Start. The last topic we're going to talk about is my favorite topic. It's about food. Cooking, guys. Like, so let's say you want to try a new recipe every week or every month. I was so big on trying new recipes. I was just that girl. I was like, I was dating somebody at the time and I felt like this gentleman had a new meal every other day. And oh my gosh, and I was enjoying it. Child, ain't been doing no cooking.
Been a little busy.
I've been a little busy.
Just go ahead and look down.
So we are going to definitely get back into cooking and making it a goal to cook at least weekly, at minimum once a month, Joycelyn McCall. Also, invest in a cookbook. I think that I went to one of my good friends, Mia. She's more like my sister. I went to visit her and I just noticed that she has these cute little cookbooks. And I'm just like, duh, you have a kitchen, you need a cookbook. Next, master your go-to dish.
Yes.
Master a go-to dish. This is your dish that you're going to always go to when you need to entertain guests, okay? You don't have to just have one.
Right.
You can have several go-to dishes that you utilize to entertain guests. That way, when the holidays come up or parties come up and people are asking for you to bring something, you can pick what you want to bring, okay, honey? Because right now, mine is just lasagna. I need to and salmon. I need to master some more. Thank you.
I wish you could make me some right now.
I'm fasting. She's a nut. Please, Dr. Richards, spare me. Next, we're going to talk about planning and prepping meals for the week to save time and reduce food waste. I, for one, live alone. It is difficult to cook for just one person. Yeah. So with that being as it may, if I cook a meal, I'm eating on that meal for the next 2 to 3 days, okay? That's how I cook it. That's how I prepare it. I personally do not meal prep.
Me either.
No shade to individuals that meal prep. Somebody reached out to me recently and she was like, Joy, you work out, so you must meal prep. No, I don't. No, I don't, honey. I do not meal prep. I don't count things. I just try to eat well as best as I possibly can without, giving myself some wiggle room for some things that I like. Currently not at this time, but definitely having some flexibility there. But if that is your ministry, if that's something you want to get into, because maybe you have a goal that, oh, I do want to lose X amount of pounds. Well, if you want to lose X amount of pounds, then you definitely need to be counting something, okay? I don't know if you want to count your carbs, count your calories, count your ounces, whatever. You definitely need to be counting something, because it don't matter what you do in the gym. If you are not being mindful of what you're consuming, it does not matter.
It's true.
Last but certainly not least, take a cooking class.
Yes.
What a perfect date night,
Yes.
right? Like, get on Groupon. We live in Chicago. If you're in another city, get on Groupon, see what local cooking classes are being offered, and go. Set that up. Then you can add to your go-to dish, because then you can go about mastering that particular dish that you learned at this cooking class. Me personally, when we went to Italy, we went to this little restaurant, and we shared a pesto pasta. Yeah. Now listen, I ain't never been no big pasta person, but you go to Italy, you better eat some pasta. It only makes sense, okay? Right. And so they bring out this pasta, and it's delicious.
It's delicious.
I came home, that must have been the most pasta I ever made in my life, but I made it a point to learn how to make that pasta. And if I can say so, I really like my little spin on it.
Period.
Because that's just part of being in Chicago, when we take food from other places and we make it better. But
that's it.
That's really it. So for me, my goals really is to get back into cooking. I'm going to be real. It's busy. Life is busy right now. I am not going to be cooking 2 times a week, 3 times a week. That's not happening. I'm going to try to cook once a week. Once a week, and I'm going to make that meal stretch as long as I can before I order me some Chinese food.
My go-to. She definitely cooks more than me. Even they're not cooking. Any of my friends will tell you I'm not the cooking friend. I really don't like it. I can't wait for God to send me this man that loves to cook, because I'm not doing it. However, every now and then I make me a little meal. Okay, I'm really big on getting like the I make nothing look like something, y'all, okay? This is one of my favorites. So I'm gonna put my little cheat code out there. So listen up, girls. If you're not a cooking girl, I get the Uncle Ben's minute rice. You put that in the microwave, okay? I put that rice down on that plate, add me a little parsley, a little salt and pepper, right? I done marinated me some shrimp. I put that shrimp on top of that. Okay? We got us a meal.
That is a meal.
And it looks fire.
It came straight from Applebee's.
It came. Okay, you can't tell me they not serving this at the Applebee's. And I put them shrimp in the air fryer. I put that rice in the microwave. That meal took me all of 20 minutes.
I know that's right.
If that.
I know that's right.
You gotta work smarter, not harder.
No, that's perfect.
But all that being said, I do want to cook more. I am big on Pinterest. I have a Pinterest board for just about everything. Okay. And I do have a recipe Pinterest board. Like, I see it, and you can't tell me I'm not one of those housewives like, oh, I'm gonna make this. You know, the little Beyonce gift when she be like, I'm gonna make this. I don't know when, but one day.
We're gonna do it.
Yeah. So go, realistic.
We have shared so many different realistic goals with you guys, and some of them, may resonate with you. Some of them may not. Some of them might have sparked something inside of you. Nevertheless, we want you guys to share your experiences with us. Drop anything in the comments, forgive me. And we want to continue the dialogue, guys. So definitely get in the comments. But we want to give our closing thoughts here and just really emphasize that resolutions are not about changing who you are as an individual, but becoming more aligned with who you want to become. Okay, so it's not new year, new me. Okay, it's the new year saying you but better. Okay, because there's always room for improvement. So we want to make sure that you're making safe and realistic goals. Pave the way for a sustainable, vibrant life. Okay, pun intended. And yes, get in the comments, share your resolutions with us, share us on social media, send it to your co-workers, send it to your church youth group, whatever you need to do. And nevertheless, we're going to be signing off our first episode of the year with Vibrant Vocations.
Yes, and it's a little late, but happy 1 year anniversary to us. We started this podcast a year ago. So yeah, just very excited for our resolutions, y'all resolutions that y'all gonna share, and all discussions. So
That's a good year. Let's get to it.
see y'all later. Bye.